Saul's soldiers saw Goliath and they mumbled, "Oh, not again. My dad fought his dad. My granddad fought his grandfather. For 300 years we've been fighting." And you've groaned under similar words. I'm becoming a workaholic, just like my father. Divorce is just something that has infected our family forever. My mom left my dad. My grandmother had 5 husbands. When will it end? Your giant torments you morning, noon, and night. He stalked your ancestors, and now he's stalking you. He blocks out the sun and leaves you to stand in the shadow of doubt. When Saul and his troops heard the Philistines' challenge, they were terrified and they lost all hope. That's what the scriptures say. But I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. You know Goliath. You recognize his walk and wince at his talk. You have been the one hiding in your room, waiting for him to come home and dole out the punishment. You've seen your Godzilla. The question is that all that you've seen? You know his voice, but is that all that you've heard? David saw and heard more. This is what David said. David asked the men standing near him, "What will be done for the man who kills the Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" David shows up, and the first thing that he talks about isn't the God over there. He talks about, isn't the giant over there. He talks about the God that is here. Everyone else is shaking in their boots. They've forgotten God, but not David. David announces, "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hands of the Philistines." Not only does David bring God into the mix with his fellow Israelites, he takes the fight to Goliath. This is what he says. "You come against me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defiled. This day the Lord will hand you over to me, and I will strike you down and cut off your head." The boys really like that part. They really do. "Today I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into my hands." See, nobody else talked of God, and yet David spoke of nothing else. David saw what others couldn't see and refused to be shaken by what others saw. What did David see? "But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel." The armies of Israel. David didn't say army. He said armies. You see, you and I see only one army, that of Israel. But David saw the allies on D-Day, platoons of angels and infantries of saints and weapons of wind and the force of the earth, that God could pelt the enemy with hail as he did for Moses, collapse the walls as he did for Joshua, and stir thunder as he did for Samuel. David saw the armies of God. He sees what others can't see, and it makes him invincible. He is able to stand up, to take on what everyone else was fearful of doing. He ran toward the challenge instead of away from it. How long has it been since you ran towards your challenges? We tend to want to run and hide from our giants. You know, duck behind the desk, crawl into a bottle, seek the bed of forbidden love. At least for a while, a day, a year, we feel safe, insulated, perhaps even a little numb. But then the work runs out and the liquor wears off and the lover leaves and we hear our giant stomping his feet and booming his voice once again. Well, maybe it's time we tried something different. Attacking our giants with a God-saturated soul. Maybe it's time to load the sling and drop a few giants in their tracks. David was a man after God's own heart. But David had both good and bad moments. When he was good, folks, he was very, very good. But when he was bad, there was nobody worse. David had more than one giant in his life, just as we do. And I kind of want to wrap up with this today. Giants. Sooner or later, we have to face them. But we never have to face them alone. Focus first and foremost on God. The times David did this, he came out ahead and his giants fell. The times that David failed to focus on God, he found himself wanting. And the same is true in our world today. It's a matter of keeping our focus and moving forward in the name of God. Amen.